There are people in your life that you can say you've had the privilege of knowing. Kylee Webster was one of those people. Kylie's life was taken much too soon when she lost her battle with sarcoma. In her memory, her mother and her brother started Kylee's Dancing Angels, and this is an organization dedicated to helping people fight their battle with sarcoma. In the next half an hour, we'll hear all about Kylie's story and what Kylie's Dancing Angels is doing to help those in need. I'm Kristy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene. I am now joined with Kylee Webster. She is Kylie's mother, and she has worked so hard, tirelessly, to get this organization off the ground and to make a difference in the lives of other people that are dealing with sarcoma. Kylee, thank you so much for being with us today and inviting us into your home.
Thank you for coming here and spreading the word about Kylie's Dancing Angels. The day she took her wings, I knew I had to do something. That's why I founded Kylie's Dancing Angels. I work every day. It keeps me going. It lets me know that I'm doing something good, and I think we all have to give and do some good in this world. And I know my girl is smiling down from heaven on me and saying, "Go, Mom, keep helping our sarcoma patients."
Kylee, what is Kylie's Dancing Angels?
When Kylie took her wings, I decided to start a nonprofit called Kylie's Dancing Angels. Kylie did many things in her short life. She taught classes at Harford Community College. She was a drug addiction counselor for Harford County, and she went into all the high schools. The children loved her. She also taught dance classes to lots of little children in Harford County. That's why I named it Kylie's Dancing Angels. I wanted it to be something fun. I wanted to represent her. And believe me, it does, and everybody loves her to this day and still calls me and tells me about the things that she did for their children when she went into the high schools.
Kylie was such a positive person. That's how people remember her. Tell us about how she reacted, how you reacted when she was first diagnosed with sarcoma.
She was diagnosed on September 6, 2011. We took her to Johns Hopkins, and when we took her to Johns Hopkins, she was already stage 3 sarcoma. She had a 10-centimeter tumor which grew up inside of her, and she had to go through 4 major surgeries, 20-some rounds of chemo, 20-some rounds of radiation. The day that she went into the hospital for the last week, I took her in on a Friday. We stayed in there for 1 week. She was still taking oral chemo when she went in there. She would not stop. Dr. Myers came up to her and finally said, "Kylie, remember I told you one day we'd have to have this talk? So I'm telling you today, I want you to stop taking the chemo." And she passed away the very next day on a Friday morning.
I can't imagine how difficult this must have been and how difficult it still is. But her memory lives on. Is that why you started the organization?
Absolutely. I knew that I wanted her to be in our minds all the time. I wanted people to remember Kylee Brooke Webster. You know, there's a time for weeping, and there's a time for laughing. There's a time for mourning, and there's a time for dancing. And we all dance, and we dance with her every single day.
Kylee, you've worked so hard to make this the success that it is. What exactly is your role within Kylie's Dancing Angels? What do you do to keep everything flowing?
I am a behind-the-scenes girl. My son does most of the getting the money from the people and the corporate sponsors, but I am constantly out going to people to ask for personal donations, to ask for products. Last year at our bull roast, we had over $10,000 worth of merchandise that I gathered, and we had baskets for a raffle. So I kind of do everything like that and make sure that we have everything we need for everything that we do.
Did Kylee ever get a chance to meet any of the people that she helped, or did you?
I have. Our very first little girl, her name was Claire, and we went to New Jersey to take her money to her. She had sarcoma in her leg. Kylee got to meet her before she passed away. And one story that I tell over and over again, one day when Claire was coming back from the hospital for treatment, she was sitting in the back seat, she fell asleep. She was only like 5 years old, and her mom said, "Claire, you're calling somebody's name out." And she said, "Yeah, I'm calling my angel's name out." And she said, "Well, who's your angel?" "Kylee, and she's making sure that I am still okay." And to this day, our little Claire is still here with us.
Darlene, when Kylee was really sick, and this was towards the end, she said she wanted you to help others. What did she mean?
She never gave up. She never would stop thinking about what she could do for her next step. And the thing about sarcoma, it is so rare. Most doctors don't ever even see a case of it. And she said to me and to her doctor, "Please promise me that you will do something and keep fighting and make sure that our sarcoma patients are taken care of."
Darlene, what do you think makes Kylie's Dancing Angels such a success?
Kylee had such a group of friends that when she was down Hopkins, the waiting room was filled. You couldn't even get a seat. So I had such a good group of friends and family to help me get this started. And they still remain with me today. They're girls that are doctors, nurses, teachers that have families, but yet they take the time when I call them up and say, "I need you to help me with anything." They're right there with me. And when anyone comes to any of our functions, it's always fun and happy, just like Kylee would want it to be. And that's what I think our success comes from.
Darlene, thanks again, and congratulations on making this the success that it is 5 years later, and look how far you've come.
Thank you, Kristy, and thank you for making Kylie's Dancing Angels part of a lot of people's lives in Harford County.
Well, everybody knows about Kylee. The people that know her, the people that are closest to her, know that she had an unstoppable spirit. Coming up next, we're going to hear more about her journey and talk to one of her closest friends. Ashley Canatella was very close with Kylee during her time here on Earth, and she is working with Kylie's Dancing Angels to make sure Kylie's memory lives on. Ashley, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Ashley, tell me about your friendship with Kylee. I know you were friends for a really long time.
I met her in 9th grade. I transferred to Fallston High School from Southampton. I wasn't part of that crew that had gone to school, elementary and middle school, and she was one of my first new friends. It was a harder transition, and she was just so welcoming and friendly and fun, and introduced me to all her friends, and we were tight ever since then. So that was like 1993.
Wow.
Yeah, long time.
Not only was her diagnosis extremely difficult on the family, but I imagine it was really difficult on her friends as well.
Yeah, it was. It was hard for us, but she was a fighter, very courageous the whole time, and she was good to all of us throughout the whole process as well.
What is your role within Kylie's Dancing Angels?
So after she had passed, we had talked about the different things that we could have done to honor her, and Alan and Dar said, in order for us to form this nonprofit, we need a board of directors. Will you be part of that? And I was like, absolutely, 100%.
And how do you go about funding the mission for the organization?
So we do a variety of fundraisers throughout the year, but the two biggest ones that we have is an annual walk at Annie's Playground, and we do a bull roast in May.
Now, from what I've heard and what I've seen, those are very well attended fundraisers.
Yep. We always sell out within a matter of, more recent years, in a matter of weeks for our bull roast. And the walk is open because it's outdoors. We're not limited to capacity, so we can take in some more people. But the bull roast, it's, the tickets are gone within a week or two, and, gotta get those quick.
How have the events changed over the past couple of years?
So over the last 4 years, everything, the organization has gotten bigger, the events have gotten bigger. Like I said, we sell out very quickly, but the events, they're just so much more fun. We have so many different venues and donors, from individuals to local businesses. Our people are just giving, and it just makes the event much more fun when there's different types of like casinos and silent auctions, and it's just a big party. It's a big party.
How would you say these events honor the memory of Kylee?
They're fun. They are really fun. And Kylee was fun. She was full of life, fun-loving, and that's exactly what these things are.
How has the organization affected you personally?
I mean, as an individual and as a mother, it really has helped me to just sort of seize the day and live each day for what it is and make the most of it.
Kylie's personality touched so many people in her time here on Earth. How do you think that she would want to be remembered?
I think she will be remembered for the spunky, fun-loving person that she was. I think she'll also be remembered as a courageous fighter of her disease. I think she'll want to be remembered for the strength that she showed throughout her fight, and to know that she drew that strength and courage through her relationship with Jesus Christ.
Ashley, thank you so much. And Kylee is so lucky to have people like you. I know she'd be really proud of what you've done.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Well, coming up next, we're going to tell you more about how you can support this wonderful organization, and we'll hear more about Kylee's time on Earth. It's amazing the type of support system that Kylee Webster has, and the people that have rallied around her and stood by her side in a very difficult time. Right now, I'm joined with Lauren Castle. She is the treasurer of Kylee's Dancing Angels and a friend of Kylee's since the 2nd grade. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Tell me about your friendship with Kylee.
Kylee has been my best friend since I've been in 2nd grade, so about 8 years old. Kylee and I had the most dynamic friendship. Literally every morning before school, probably through high school, we would call each other to make sure we would plan our outfits to make sure we weren't wearing the same thing. She was the first person I talked to in the morning, the last person I talked to at night. Kylee was truly my best friend. With both my children being born, she was the first one there. She actually held my daughter before my husband did. So Kylee holds a very special place in my heart. I mean, she was the sister that I never had.
How did she react to her diagnosis? How did you react to her diagnosis?
It was a gut punch. And with our large group of friends that we had, I kind of was the spokesperson, let's say, and kind of talked about the hard things that Kylee might not want to talk about and try to communicate with everybody as to what was going on. Always trying to keep the positive vibe for Kylee, but, you know, deep down, the pain of what she was going through and watching, and just the fighting spirit that she had, that, you know, when you're having a bad day and, you know, just because anything, right? You could have forgotten to pick up something at the grocery store or something, and you get down and then you just sit and you think about, oh my gosh, what's Kylee going through and how she's handling all this. And, you know, it was just, it was almost surreal. We couldn't believe that these things could happen, let alone to someone so close to us. And when she was first diagnosed, we all had dinner at my house. I invited over our whole group of friends, and I remember we had this Italian dinner, and before dinner, we kind of did this little quiet presentation for Kylee, and we had all pooled our money, and we went and so she could go get a wig, and we just got her some fun things, and just, you know, to be there to help her. But it was heartbreaking. It really was. But her spirit and her positive attitude really helped push me personally through, and I know that, you know, the majority of our friends too, to keep everybody focusing on the positive.
Lauren, Kylee was so lucky to have such a huge support system, so many people that loved her. Now, as time went on, you were approached to become a part of this organization. How did that all evolve?
Well, it was funny, you know, through Kylie's battle and the times that, you know, we talked and I would take her down for her chemo treatments and whatnot. Kylee always, as she was going through this, we had toyed around with ideas of, all right, well, when you beat this, let's do something for people, right? Let's do something impactful. And she had always said that she wanted to, we talked about this idea of pajamas. She had dealt with having the port from her chemo, and she said that there was never a pajama that was a good way of being able to, you know, inject the tubes for the port and the medication and whatnot. So we had always talked about doing something. And obviously that idea never came to fruition just based upon time and whatnot. But then just the idea of Kylie's Dancing Angels and what Kylie's mom and Alan came up with, and it's so encompassed who Kylee was with the dancing and her spirit, and it was a natural, perfect fit. And it was just kind of a no-brainer. I needed to go through with it and do whatever I could to help.
How do you draw in people? How do you promote your events?
Well, fortunately, social media has been huge. It's, you wonder what we did prior to Facebook and Instagram and all of those things, but that's our main platform for getting it out there. But it's amazing, the word of mouth, just talking with people and spreading the ideas. And it's sad because the more and more people you talk to, one of our girlfriends was recently, she was getting a tattoo, and she happened to be talking to her tattoo artist, and his tattoo shop was doing a benefit for somebody with sarcoma. And it touches so many people in so many different ways, and just just by talking with people and getting the word out there, and it grows. And that's the really, it's a really great thing. And on the other hand, you wish you didn't have to do something like this, right? But we're very lucky the way people talk and get things out.
What is something that you would like our audience to know, not only about Kylee, but about Kylie's Dancing Angels?
Kylie's Dancing Angels is fun. That's, if I could summarize what Kylie's Dancing Angels is, everything that we do is focused on fun. And it's always looking towards, it's about having a good time. If the events weren't fun, we wouldn't draw in the people. And we want to, give back to these people who are going through harder times, and not just the patients themselves or the survivors, the families too that are hurting inside for their family members. So it's just, we want them to take a little bit of time just to kind of forget about things, to have fun, and to recognize the community that they have around them to support them through the battles that they're going through.
Lauren, thank you so much, and I wish you all the luck. It looks like every year Kylie's Dancing Angels is just going to get bigger and better.
Thank you.
Now, coming up next, we're going to talk to the co-founder of Kylie's Dancing Angels, Kylie's only brother, Alan. Stay with us. As we know, family is everything, and right now I'm joined with Alan Webster. He was Kylie's older brother. They were very close, and he is the co-founder of Kylie's Dancing Angels. Hi, Alan.
How are you?
Now, Alan, let's talk about Kylie's Dancing Angels. I know you co-founded this with your mom.
When Kylee passed, we knew that we wanted to do something in her memory, and my mom thought of the idea, which was, of the background of the name and how it developed, and we wanted to do something that, we knew that her legacy would live on. So we created this foundation, and we wanted to do something that we knew that she would, look back on and enjoy. And by doing the Happy Place funding, we knew that it was something that we could, a tangible thing that people could see. It wasn't money going to necessarily research that you wouldn't see, but it's money that goes to people actually having fun. And that was our big thing that we wanted to stress with this organization, that we can see people enjoying their trips, and they send us photographs, and that was the idea behind the whole thing.
You said Happy Place funding. What do you mean when you say Happy Place funding?
The Happy Place funding, we decided that essentially it would be really anything, and we decided when this organization started up to have something where you could take a trip to the beach. A happy place could be, we had an individual in Kentucky that when he wrote us and said that he wanted to have a chicken coop built, so we gave him funding to do that. It really is something that takes that person who is having a tough time and takes them to a place that puts a smile on their face, and that was our idea behind that. So really anything tangible that we could give them, we try to give them money to make that happen.
How do you find the recipients, Alan, or do they find you?
Facebook was kind of our big generator to get out there, and you can go to the web page, which is www.kyliesdancingangels.org, and on that web page there are the link, the forms you fill out, and you mail them in. You can send them via email, or you can send them hard copy through the mail. We receive them, we go through them and process them and verify the information, and that's essentially how it works. It's as simple as that. You can essentially put into the organization, and we try to give a pretty quick turnaround because we know it's a tough time for individuals, and try to make it happen as quick as we can.
How do you decide who to fund and who not to fund? I imagine that's a pretty difficult decision.
We try to fund as many people as we can. We don't really turn anyone away. It's sarcoma based because sarcoma is such a rare cancer. So you have to have some type of sarcoma to qualify. That's really our only, limitation. So we put that out there, and most people that put in are strictly sarcoma based. If they're not, we try to let them know other organizations can help them if they don't fall underneath our parameters for our organization.
Do you get to meet the people that you find?
Sometimes we do. We've had a lot of people in Maryland that we've met. We had several people come to our bull roast that actually spoke and talked about how we touched their lives. And we have, I try to call the individuals once we decide to send them money. I try to put a personal call into them and talk to them. And that for us helps us as much as I think it helps them to actually hear the voice. And it's not just a letter, it's actually a voice and a face we can put with who we're helping.
Alan, how many people have you funded?
We funded approximately 160 people, and we sent out approximately $180,000, I would say, since the 2015 is when it really started getting going.
I know that you and Kylee were really close. Tell me about your relationship with her.
Kylee, went to Towson. I went to University of Baltimore Law School. We still spent a lot of time together. I was very good friends, with her friends Lauren and Ashley and all of the large group of girls that she was friends with. So we were best friends, and we did a lot of things together. Kylee was the godmother of my son Aiden, so it was a big part of his life until she passed. And thankfully he has a lot of memories of her, which is great, and talks about her all the time. So we're as tragic as this was, he has a lot of good memories of her, which I hold dearly, that he still got to meet her and remembers her. But we were best friends. We really were. Did everything together.
What about all these future events? What do you have in mind for moving forward?
So we do the 2 events every year. We do the walk. We do the bull roast in May, and we try to do different small things. We sometimes get invited to participate by different groups. We're actually getting ready to fund in Florida, there's like a kind of a gun shoot kind of thing where the people we're funding, the people with sarcoma get to do like a gun turkey kind of shoot, and we're funding t-shirts for them. So anyone that reaches out to us, we try to help out, and the more we get exposure and the more we can help, the more money we can give out to those individuals. So we try to do more and more events, and it gets bigger every year. It's been pretty amazing.
What can our viewers do to help? Can they donate? Can they volunteer? Or is it as simple as just spreading the word?
I mean, the best thing, obviously the money and the donations are what fuels the money that we send out. Every penny we get in goes right back out the door. So anything we can get donated on the webpage. Our bull roast in May is our big event, and our sponsors, which really kind of drives the funding for that. So any sponsors we can get in is wonderful, and anyone can reach out to us, and I'll be happy to talk to them about sponsorships as well.
Okay, Alan, thank you.
Thank you.
Alan, thank you. What you've done is amazing, and I know that Kylee would have been so happy because you're helping so many people. And you said this disease is very rare, right?
It is very rare.
Well, we are lucky to have someone like you in Harford County, and it sounds like you're helping people all across the country.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Now, coming up next, as Alan has told you and you have heard, Kylee's spirit, it's something that you would never forget. One of the most positive people you will ever meet. She touched so many lives, and with this organization, they will continue to do so. We're going to talk to some more of the important people that were in her life. Coming up next. Carrie Long is a registered nurse, and she treated Kylee for the majority of her diagnosis. Not only was she her nurse, but she became a friend to Kylee, a friend to the family, and now an essential part of Kylie's Dancing Angels. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Kristy.
Carrie, what exactly is sarcoma?
So sarcoma is a rare form of cancer that affects the connective tissue. So what differs it from other carcinomas or cancers is that it can happen anywhere in the body. So bone, muscle, tissue, cartilage, anywhere vascular happens. And so it can just affect any parts of your tissue and your anatomy.
What are the treatments for sarcoma?
So sarcoma, just like most cancers, you have surgery, so you can do a resection or an amputation if you have to, and then you always have your chemotherapies and radiation. So a lot of times you get a lot of specialists on board, your primary oncologist, your radiation oncologist, surgeons, surgical team, and they all kind of sit and do their rounds and board meeting to see what the best options are for you depending on your diagnosis.
I know that Kylee was sick for quite some time. How long was she there, and what treatments did she do?
Kylee, she got a little bit of everything. So I was her primary nurse on oncology and did a lot of her rounds of chemo therapy with her. And then she also did, I think it was something like 30 plus rounds of radiation and had a couple of different surgeries as well. So she was a true fighter. She went through a lot.
So from what I'm understanding, all these treatments, the radiation, the chemo, it really wears on your body.
Oh, it wears and tears not only on your body physically, but emotionally, psychologically. I mean, she was a true fighter through it all, though. I mean, she was just absolutely amazing, but it definitely wears you down, and the pain, the nausea, and, you know, just everything that these patients go through.
How was Kylee as a patient?
As a patient, I mean, she was just amazing. Like I said, I was lucky to be one of her first nurses. So I was kind of one of her primary nurses, because when she got there, everybody fought all over her because she was so warm and kind, and she just had this energy about her that just people just wanted to be around her. She was compassionate, and even though she was there in pain and nausea and complications and going through all this, she was always worried about the other person. She was so selfless about everything. I mean, the second time she came in, she knew everything about me. Like, she's laying here going through all this, and how's your family? How's your dog? How's your wedding planning? And it's like, who are you? Like, it just, yeah, that's the type of person she was. She was so caring and warm, and just everybody loved her that met her.
How does sarcoma affect people's lives, especially young lives like Kylie's?
So sarcoma, and any cancer for that matter, people that are going through that, they know the roller coaster ride that they are going through. Doctor's appointments and lab work and CT scans and PET scans and, you know, everything they have to go through, different complications where they're admitted into the hospital and everything else. Anything that can go wrong and go bad, you know, is what happens to these type of patients. And then on top of it, being young like Kylee was, I mean, she was entering her 30s, where you should be concerned about, you know, loved ones and friends and families and, you know, weddings coming up and baby showers. And, you know, that came to a screeching halt for her. She lost that freedom because her main focus was to fight for her life and to fight against this cancer. So it really takes a toll on you, and it's not fair. And then even on top of it, in the back of everybody's mind, they're always concerned and worried, is this going to work? You know, is it going to start spreading? Or even if they're in remission, is it going to come back? I mean, it's always that anxiety and fear that people still have that, you know, carries on with them. So it's a lot that gets put on these patients, and it was a lot that got put on Kylee, and she handled it like a champ.
Not only were you her nurse, but you formed a friendship, and from that friendship started your involvement with Kylie's Dancing Angels.
It is. When I started out, I actually, Kylee was just one of my patients, but over time we became such good friends. We would call each other, we'd text each other. I mean, she became a friend, and so did her family, like Miss Darlene and her brother Alan and Grandma would come in, and, you know, after everything was said and done, I stayed in touch with them, and that's why I try to help out any way I can with Kylie's Dancing Angels, because I support anything that they're doing with Kylee all the way.
Carrie, thank you so much. She was so lucky to have someone like you in her corner.
Thank you, Kristy.
Kylee Webster was many things to many people. She was a daughter, a friend, an aunt, and as you have learned today, a fighter to the end. If you would like to learn more about Kylie's Dancing Angels, you can visit them at kyliesdancingangels.org. I'm Kristy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.